So with all of our meetings, we start with the pledge to the red, black, and green flag. If you could, please find a red, black, and green flag in your home. A picture will be after me with the black fist in the air. I commit my body, mind, and spirit.
I commit my body, mind, and spirit
To the protection, defense, and security.
To the protection, defense, and security
Of the red, black, and green.
To the red,
black, and green.
I dedicate my life to the redemption of Mother Africa.
I
I
dedicate
dedicate my life to the redemption of Mother Africa
And the liberation of black children.
and the liberation of the black children.
liberation of our scattered black children.
I accept for myself and my descendants
I accept for
I
myself
accept for myself and my descendants
the teachings of universal African nationalism
the teachings of universal African nationalism.
and I promise that our children will be instilled
And promise that our
children will be instilled
with the purpose and knowledge of themselves as African people.
with the purpose and knowledge of
themselves as African people.
as African people.
In order that the cause of our struggle will neither falter nor fail.
In order that the cause of our struggle will neither falter nor fail.
And neither falter nor fail.
Until all black people are free and united.
Until all black
Until
people
all
are free
black
and united.
people are free and united.
Through one God,
One
One
God,
God,
one aim,
one aim,
one aim,
and one destiny.
one destiny.
and one destiny.
Face first. Okay.
I'll do it, Woody. Just don't. I don't want her in the kitchen.
Mute your lines. Okay. So we'll do a brief review. Try to go through this quickly. A review of lesson 18, titled "Commercial and Industrial Transactions." So first question from lesson 18: what previous lessons does lesson 18 build from? What of the 22 lessons, 17 or 18 lessons that we've gone over thus far? I guess 20 lessons, 18 lessons we've gone over thus far. Which of those lessons builds into commercial and industrial transactions?
Economy?
Yes, economy. 1 second. Trying to get the book. One second. Maybe. Absolutely, First Vice President. First sentence from this lesson: commerce and industry are the feeding props of the economic life of the state, the community, or society as a whole. Feeding props of the economic life. Then it describes it to state, community, or society. So there's a general expectation that we have a mastery of the lesson on economy before we expect to develop any mastery on commercial and industrial transactions. So yes, economy is the foundational lesson of lesson 18. And I'll just ask y'all a brief question. Do y'all remember what the lesson on economy was talking about? Nobody? Before I even click on them, say again?
Is that what you were saying?
What I'm asking, the lesson on economy, what did we learn there? Okay. I have to step in. The lesson on economy was talking to us about personal economy, always making a profit with your deals, always having a savings left over, and what to do, with those savings. And this lesson on commercial and industrial transactions follows up on tools that we got out of economy. So I'm not going to go through economy, but that's something that we should know. When it comes to business and industry, what are the two positions that you can have? What are the two positions that Garvey mentioned? You can be one or the other in regards to business and industry.
A producer or consumer?
Close, but no. Nobody? Garvey says you're either an employer or an employee, big or small. So, I know we have this concept of entrepreneur nowadays, where we think, some people can be kind of self-employed and, they don't have a staff and they themselves, so that could kind of go against this idea of employer or employee. But when it comes to big business, manufacturing industry, you're not on your own. So either you're working for somebody or you're employing other people. So we have to keep that in mind. And I would think that we'd want to be on the side of employer from a organizational standpoint. But yeah, employer or employee. Another follow-up question to that: if you are not an employer or employee, what does Garvey say you're destined to be?
Slave.
What's that?
A slave.
Close. Yeah, similar, but he used a specific word that we should be aware of. If we're not an employer or employee, anybody know?
Unemployed.
So if you're unemployed, how are you taken care of?
Welfare.
Mr. Erica said government. Lady President says welfare. Y'all look. That's where we're going. Let's see. So Garvey says those who do not work in this way are members of the state or recipients of charity who live off the earnings of others, which flow from those who are industrious enough to work either as an employer or an employee. So basically, Garvey said we got three options. We can be an employer, an employee, or be a ward of the state and receive benefits from the charities of others. My suggestion and my recommendation is that we find ways to be employers. And if we have to be employees for a period of time, so be it. But we definitely don't ever want to be in a position of wards of the state. Any questions on that? Okay, and what are some types of commercial enterprises? Garvey listed a couple in the book. We can go outside of that, but I'm looking for a level of understanding commercial enterprises are.
Textile manufacturer.
Textile?
Yes.
Yes.
Agriculture.
That was there, but I say that was in the next section. I want to say, let me check on. Let me do a sneak peek real quick. Yes, agriculture was in the next one.
But it doesn't negate it.
Normally do.
Say again.
So I definitely didn't reread today like I normally do.
You're all right. Well, my understanding of commercial enterprises are, it seems like he puts it in a finished product state. So when things are completed and put together and sold, that's where I kind of get commercial goods. Grocery, lumber's already cut. Ironmonger, so iron worker. Mercantile, as you said, dry goods, clothing, tailoring, retail, wholesale. These are things that are readily accessible to be procured or to be used, almost like finished products. Well, tailoring, obviously. Any questions on commercial? Sorry,
I think restaurants too.
Say that one more time.
You see?
I couldn't hear you, Mama Mina.
No, I said restaurants.
Restaurants, yes, yeah. That would be in there as well. These are just the ones that Garvey listed in the book, but obviously we can expand that based on the understanding of commercial enterprises. What are some types of industrial enterprises? Industry.
Agriculture.
Yes, agriculture. He only had 2 examples, but I would think like plant workers, mine workers,
Right, because they for sure.
But Garvey had, manufacturing and farming were the 2 examples he had. But for me, the way I look at it and remember it is industry is procuring the raw. Industry is procuring the raw goods, and then commercial is, once those raw goods are refined and put together and ready for sale. That's just my easy way of distinguishing the 2. Any questions on commercial enterprises or industrial enterprises? Okay, next question.
Well, what did he say? He didn't say anything about the entertainment industry?
No.
Maybe back in 1900, maybe that wasn't a big thing back then.
No, I mean, it's not as big as it is now, but I would think that would be a commercial enterprise, I'm pretty sure.
Finished product.
Yes.
And then look at.
Lady President, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, even, go ahead, Joan. You're the teacher tonight. You can teach. I'll just listen.
You okay, Mama Mina?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Question 5, we've got like 15 questions to get through. Question 5 is, of the successful business people in the world started with what? What did they start with? Most of the successful business people in the world.
A dream?
An idea was suggested. That, yeah, I think that makes sense, yeah. But there's something else that Garvey mentioned specifically that we should keep in mind.
Okay, look, they must have some money, huh?
Yes.
A plan.
Oh, what?
A plan?
Y'all on the
It
right
was
track.
a
Plan,
small amount of capital, right? Small amount of capital.
Correct. Small amount of capital. But the idea here is that we don't need a large amount of money in order to, create the ideas or be successful. We can start. This is where Garvey was getting into. You can start small. So that's the information that is being conveyed there. He had examples of successful business people, Thomas Lipton, some other people, but he had a general common assessment that they started with a small amount of capital and then they were able to build, slowly and steady, build great wealth. So we have to be willing to start small. Any questions on that? Question 6, what does Garvey say has been the fault of the Negro in business? What has been the fault of the Negro in regards to business? And this is a long-term type thing.
Not wanting to start at the bottom, wanting to start at the top and have an instant success. Not to take the 50 cents and only spend 10 cents and keep your 40 cents for the next morning.
But yes, you getting into where he was, talking, like breaking it down of how to do it. But Garvey said, the fault with the Negro in business, commercial or industrial, has been his inability to appreciate starting at a given point and climbing steadily. But yes, as Brother James said, with our great ideas, grandiose ideas, we want to start at the finish line, and the first day, we should be capacity, and every day thereafter, it should be sold out. So we have to be willing to start small and work our way up. Any questions, comments on that? Okay, next question, number 7. What happens to people who do not have commerce and industry? What happens to people who do not have commerce and industry?
They depend on others.
They depend on others, yes. About their own personal economy.
So what happens to them then? You said they depend on others.
When people don't have commerce and industry, they're forced to depend on others. And I agree with that. But there's something specifically in regards to personal economy that Garvey
Is it
talked
will
about.
perish? People will perish, just
Yes.
be eliminated.
He said they perish economically. But yes, if we don't have
Okay.
commerce and industry, then our economy, we're not producing anything, we're not creating anything. Any questions on that? Okay. So yeah, we have a responsibility to build commerce and industry in order to, have a profitable economy for the organization and the government. Question number 8. What does Garvey believe is the safest kind of government for persons of individual initiative who desire to go into business? So what is the safest kind of government for people desiring to go into business? And
What's
why?
the question?
What is the safest kind of government persons who desire to go into business.
Capitalism?
That's not a type of government, but
Oh, a democratic government? That's what you're trying to say?
yes, democratic government, but do we know why? And it goes to what First Vice President was saying about capitalism.
It gives every man what was it? It gives everybody opportunity, something like that.
Garvey says, therefore, is the kind of government that offers to the individual the opportunity to rise from laborer to the status of capitalist or employer. So Garvey felt that through democracy and capitalism, as First Vice President said, as we talked about in some of the previous lessons, the previous lesson on communism, capitalism has no regard for race. It only regards profit. So it doesn't care, whether it's a white person, a black person, a person producing. Capitalism only cares about getting the most profit. So whoever can provide, the best product at the lowest cost for them to get the best profit, that is what true capitalism, is supposed to pursue. So Garvey's saying, in that type of system, we have a fair chance. Well, from a true capitalist standpoint, we shouldn't be discriminated on because of our skin color. If we the product, and that is the case. True capitalists, they don't care about black or white. They're just trying to make a dollar. Any questions, comments on that? So yeah, Garvey was a fan, and he promoted democracy over communism, at least. But he felt that it gave us more opportunity in regards to like free trade and the concepts of. Okay. Question 9, when we acquire property, what should we always make sure that we get when we acquire property? Records is one thing.
Value for your money.
Absolutely. Value for your money. When we acquire it, we should be making sure that we're getting for the things that we acquire. Questions, comments? Next question, who regulates the property market?
What's
that?
The
No,
state?
what's the answer?
Real estate brokers.
What's that?
The real estate brokers and the mortgage companies.
Real estate brokers and mortgage companies. I believe those are the two. Mortgaging and trust companies who take on mortgages on property. So Garvey said real estate or agents and the mortgaging and trust company who take mortgage on property. These are the entities that regulate the property market. As far as the Negro is concerned, what does Garvey say is the custom of real estate brokers and mortgaging companies?
What's the custom of them?
When it comes to Negroes buying and selling property, what does Garvey say is the custom of real estate brokers and mortgaging companies?
To cheat us.
To discriminate.
They don't sell us the property at the value that it's worth. And if we were selling they wouldn't buy it at the value that it's worth. So he talked about buying land as a Black melanated individual, and he was saying if you know, if they know that you're melanated, they would charge it to you at 1 1/3 times the price, up to 1 1/2 times the actual value. So Garvey was saying that it's a custom of these companies to basically rip us off, you know, whether we're buying or selling. Questions, comments?
Ain't nothing
Nope,
changed.
that's for sure. Ain't nothing changed.
Okay. Next question. What 2 places should you go to in order to find the real value of a property?
Isn't like the deeds, I forgot, I know here is the deeds, like you go down to the courthouse to the clerk, deeds to the clerk, deeds to the clerk. I forgot what the name, I forgot what he called it, but that's pretty much, you know what I mean, to go and find out what the property sold for and so on and so forth.
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Garvey used word titles or something like that. But you look at, as our Black Cross Nurse coordinator said, you look at the record, what it sold for in the past, what it was bought for, all that good stuff. That's one place. What's the other place?
Office of Taxation.
Taxation for sure. They know.
Government registry. So the first one was official registry of titles, and then the second one is government registry. And Garvey was saying that Garvey said about how the government values properties compared to the real value. Okay. Well, he said, I have to pull it from the book, but he basically said, like, when you look at the government registry, the value of the property will be listed, or the government will list it at 2/3 of the actual cost. If you add 1/3 to that cost from the government registry number, it should be close to the official registry numbers. But I remember Garvey said that, like, the government registry lists things at 2/3 of the actual price. So just add 1/3 and those numbers should be close to each other. Question 13 of 17. How does Garvey say that the majority of Negroes in every country their property? How does Garvey say that the majority of Negroes lose their property?
They don't pay their taxes.
Don't pay their taxes. In a sense, yes. It leads into that, but there's something more direct that he talks about. Anybody?
Is it the financing? They try to get
It's
you out of
related
the
to the
house
financing.
before you can pay it off.
Yes, but how do they do that?
It was something about paying the interest, but not paying off, I guess, the something, I can't even sum it up. God dang. But it's something like that. Paying off the interest, but maybe not the I can't get it out.
No, you close. But he talked about being tricked into paying the interest first and never paying on the real value of the loan. So associated with what Mama Mina is saying, when we pay everything in the interest and we don't pay our taxes, we don't pay the real value on the loan, that allows the mortgager to, foreclose on the property, come get it, and then resell it to somebody else and try to again. But Garvey was telling us, don't be tricked into paying the interest first. Make sure down the real value of the loan. With that, I'll add, what makes the, I don't know if that was a question. What makes the mortgager nervous?
Actually paying on the loan.
Yes. So those two questions are related. The mortgager, they sell us the property, and they will try to paying, the interest and not paying the real value, so that they can take it away and sell it again. But okay.
Can I throw something out there real fast? This is going on right
Go ahead,
now
brother.
with like the industry, especially if you have like a certain model car. You know what I mean? Even if you ain't paid it off or whatever, they're going to tell you, oh, yeah, bring it on in. You know what I mean? Because I think, I don't know, in your area, in our area, there's certain cars that they're looking for, used cars that they're looking for. So they'll offer you, you know what I mean, a new car. They'll take your car off your hands and get you into a new, you know what I mean, 4, 5, 6 year, 7-year loan. You know what I mean? So you almost at the end of your loan. And they tell you like, oh, bring the car in, you know what I mean? And we'll buy it off for you and we'll get you into a new 2022, you know what I mean? And meanwhile, you only got like a year or two left on your loan. So you're about to be out of this car payment and they end up getting you for another 5 to 6 years or whatever. And they take your car, you know what I mean, do an overhaul on it and then sell it for another $10,000, $15,000.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. So it's not just the homes, but it's also vehicles as well. But absolutely right.
I used to make so much money doing that when I sold cars. I love capitalism. We all can win.
Vice President.
I'm on weed
right,
now. Ain't no day.
What's that?
I said, that's we, not they. I did that myself before.
I got you. All right, next question. If there's no questions on how Negroes lose their property or trick to lose their property, we'll go to the next question. What are some examples of charitable institutions?
Churches.
Was that? You said church?
Nah, I did, but I did say that, but they're charitable.
I would agree with that. They do charity work. What are other examples of charitable institutions? And actually, one of them that Garvey got in here, I think, is no longer a charitable institution.
What was it?
Well, I'm asking us what are the examples of charitable institutions. I'll give the answers, and one of the answers that Garvey had, I wouldn't consider it a charitable institution anymore.
He lists hospital, homes for the aged, and homes for the blind.
Yep. Yes. Hospitals, homes for our elderly, homes for the blind, asylums were the examples that Garvey gave. But I would say I don't think hospitals are charitable.
Homes for the elderly, they're not too charitable either.
So yeah.
Especially not down here in Atlanta.
Hospitals.
So yeah, I think a lot of what was charitable institutions in Garvey's time has become a little more capitalistic in our time.
They're for sure capitalistic today. That's right.
Yeah, because you still have like the Shriners. You have Children's Hospital that's run completely by donations. There's a couple of them that's run, and even like, you know what I mean, some of like your state hospitals, you go in and you'll see like the Weinberg wing. You'll see the Heisenberg wing or some type, you know what I mean? So people still do donate to the hospital. So
that makes sense. I'm glad you brought the example of the Children's Hospital. Yeah, St. Jude. That's just in general, like, you know, our main hospital, you're not about to go in there and get some free services. But I understand what you're saying. That's bad. Okay. Next question, where should we give charity and who should we give charity to? Basically, like, who should we give charity to? Why?
Charity begins at home.
Yes, why should we do charity at home first?
We should take care of our own because it'll come back to us quicker or
Yes,
eventually.
pretty much. But yeah, as Brother James said, charity begins at home. Garvey says, our race is much nearer to us than any other race. And as you said, I forgot the words that Garvey used. Let me make sure it's not in one of the. Okay, let me see if it's not in one of these answers before I say something. Yeah, it is. Well, all right, this is a follow-up. And Brother James, you kind of, I guess, I don't know why I had this like this, but why should we focus on race first and charity? Charity does begin at home. Our race is much nearer to us than a neighboring one. Brother James said it would come back to us quicker. And Garvey does mention that as an answer. But does anybody else want to add to why we should focus on race first when we do charity?
Because you're giving to your own community.
Yes. So what Garvey says, well, I added the one destiny part, but we have a motto: one God, one aim, one destiny. And I think, our one destiny is like, we all either gonna make it together or we're not gonna make it. But we're all linked. We all have a joint destiny. But Garvey says, never allow him to fall, because as low down as he goes, he may ultimately pull you down. As high up as you can send him, he might ultimately pull you up with him. It is like casting bread upon the water to come back to you after taste. Last question. Why should we help to maintain charity?
How can we maintain charity?
Why should we help to maintain charity?
Because you're helping to take care of yourself.
To benefit those that are unfortunate.
Yeah, it's definitely a benefit those unfortunate. And what did you say, Mama Mina?
I agree with what you said. That's
anything else? Why should we help to maintain charity? Help the unfortunate?
We got to help us, because like in the other lessons, is always pointed out how the other races are going to help the other races. So who's going to help us if we don't help ourselves? And if we send out charity to other people and help and lift them up when it's time to lift us up, and there's a poor white guy standing beside us, they're going to help him first, and then we get whatever's left behind.
That's right.
Yes, that goes back to, into race first concept, but there's something very fundamental as to why we should help maintain charity. It's a fundamental thing that we skipped over. Nobody's mentioned it yet. Helping the unfortunate, helping our race because nobody else will. True, but there's another reason, a more fundamental reason as to why we should help maintain charity. Nobody?
Well, that's a God-given directive.
God-given directive?
Yeah.
Yes. but there's a benefit in it that we should be aware of, or potential benefit, I should say. All right, I'm gonna share it.
If you help others, that help you, what is benefit?
Say again?
Helping others, and then they will also help you or assist you?
In a sense. But the point of it is, one day we may need charity. So we help maintain charity and these institutions and services of charity because we may need it one day. So Garvey says we may need charity someday. Charity should always be maintained for its own good, as Mama Mina said. It's a biblical principle, to benefit those who may be unfortunate enough to need it, and the next person to need it may be you. So,
And that's right.
we should maintain charity because we may need that charity someday.
That's right.
So that's all I've got for questions on commercial and industrial transactions. If there's no questions or anything, we can move into the reading for this evening. Okay.
I don't have my book. I didn't oh, let me go.
Brother Mason.
I got you.
Okay. I'm handing it over to First Vice President, Brother Macias. We'll get into lesson 19. First Vice President.
Lesson 19, winning mankind by kindness. A touch of kindness moves to the heart of all men. To be kind is to be generous and to be pleasant, to be inviting in your manner, to be sympathetic and thoughtful of the other fellow's feelings may cost you nothing. You should be kind because sometimes you can extend it by a pleasant smile or a pleasant situation or a good wish. To say, I wish you well, I wish you everything that is prosperous. I hope you will succeed. I'm sorry to hear of your bad fortune. I hope things will turn out successfully for you. I wish you a long life, and the joy and happiness of it is good term. All these convey to your friends. All these convey to your friends, acquaintances, or even your enemies, a beauty of thought and soul that wins appreciation and often gratitude. If your friends come to you for help and you cannot give it to him, don't turn him away with a cold words, but with it the words of cheer and comfort. It may bring him joy in his disappointment, even though he does not get the thing he had hoped for. You go up. You can never tell who is sincere or who is honest. Therefore, you must always be on your guard, not to lend your money. Don't give away your money foolishly because you may never get it back. If you are in doubt that you will get back a loan to a friend, then try never to lend money to that friend because he will become your enemy later. Offer him a drink of water, a piece of cake, or delicious fruit, and then express your sorrow in the kindliest of words or your inability to help him at that time. And see that when he leaves the gate, you smile with him and win his smile in return, which is an assurance of parting friendship, which probably would not be otherwise if you had bluntly refused his original request. Win the world to you with a smile, with a hearty shake of the hand, with a glad welcome. It costs very little. It costs less than an ugly stare or the fixed hands of unwelcome. In the organizational life of the UNIA, always give to those you want to win. Give to the poor in the neighborhood and win them over to you. Give to them from the charitable funds of the organization. Give them necessities and niceties that they need and cannot buy. Be kind to them, to the little children of the neighborhood. Give them candles from the charity fund. Give them pennies to buy.
Brother Macy's.
Buy.
Brother Macy's.
From house to
Brother
house.
Macy's.
Leave a word of cheer. Yep. Say again. Say
You were
again.
breaking up a little bit. You were breaking up a little bit.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Can you go back? Can you go back to be kind to the little children?
Okay. I'll start at the top. Win the world to you with a smile, with a hearty shake of the hand, with glad welcome. It costs very little. It costs less than an ugly stare with a fixed hand of unwelcome. In the organizational life of the UNIA, always give to those who. Sorry about that, guy. Always give. In the organizational life of the UNIA, always give to those you want to win. Give to the poor in the neighborhood and win them over to you. Give to them from the charitable funds of the organization. Give them the necessities and niceties that they need and cannot buy. Be kind to the little children of the neighborhood. Give them candies from the charity fund. Give them pennies to buy candies, and these little ones will carry the name of the UNIA of the neighborhood. Then visit the neighborhood from house to house. Leave a word of cheer everywhere you go. Then persuade them to join the UNIA. If they are in trouble, console them. If the organization cannot help them with advice, give it to them. If the organization can help them with advice, give it to them. You cannot recommend them to some officer or the organization who has been well trained for such work. Have this officer go there and give the required advice. But let your good work be seen and known in the neighborhood and in the community so that they will always come to you for organizational help. Remember that the organization is for the purpose of helping the needy, the distressed, and to assist all members of the race who need help. It is by these methods that the Catholic Church has won the hearts of the people by the charity of its sisterhood and its priesthood, helping the sick and distressed and restoring them to health. When people have recovered from their bad conditions, their gratitude becomes the pillar on which the church rests. Let the gratitude of the Negro people in your community be the pillar on which the organization rests in your community. There should always be a charitable fund in every division of the UNIA and a certain amount placed to the disposal of responsible representatives of the association for the dispensing of charity to the neighborhood in which they live. As a representative of the association, the charity should be disclosed in the name of the organization to maintain its reputation in the community. Let the tender touch of kindness be everywhere, going from the UNIA to the people in the community. When when men will remember you for nothing else, they remember you for the kindly deed, the touch of sympathy, that seldom comes from others, which is the duty of every representative of the UNIA.
Thank you, Brother Macy's. Yeah, that was a very short lesson, winning mankind by kindness. Straightforward, and re-emphasis of our charity program and charitable funds. Was there any questions on winning mankind by kindness before we move 20? Okay. Before you move to lesson 20, Brother Mason, I just want to read this one thing to take away, if you don't take away anything else from an organizational standpoint. There should always be a charitable fund in every division of the UNIA, a certain amount of place at the disposal or responsible representative of the association for dispensing of charity in the neighborhood in which they live. But every division should have a charitable fund. Division 421, we just got a charitable fund last year, but all divisions should have a general fund, and then anything in addition to the general fund should go to charitable fund for these type of programs. All right, Brother Macias, if you would please lead us into lesson 20.
Lesson 20, living for something. Life is an important function. It was given for the purpose of expression. The flower expresses itself through the beauty of its bloom. The vine expresses itself through its rambling search and selling its own peculiar nature. The tree expresses itself in its smiling green leaves, shaking branches, and sometimes hanging fruit. The lark expresses itself in its laughter and song. The river expresses itself in its gentle meandering unto the sea. And man expresses himself according to the idealistic visions of his nature. There is a scope for each life. Let yours find its scope and fully express itself. Man should have a purpose. That purpose he should always keep in view with the hope of achieving it in the fullest satisfaction to himself. Be not aimless, drifting and floating with the tide that doesn't go your way. To find your purpose, you must search yourself, and with the knowledge of what is good and what is bad, select your course, steering towards the
Nigga do the true meaning of
particular
life.
object of your dream or desire. Never enter upon life's journey without a program. Simpleton as you may be, you can have a program. No ship ever reaches port without a positive destination beforehand. Otherwise, it will drift on the mighty ocean to be overtaken by the storm or the ill wind that blows. The sensible captain goes to sea with a chart to map out his course so as to reach his harbor of safety. Your program is your chart through life. Everything you do it by method. Nothing succeeds continuously or repeatedly by chance. You may get success in a particular direction by accident, but it was chiefly because that accident was the correct method in achieving that particular thing, and you happen to have stuck upon the right method by chance. But trying chances the way a second time may bring you failure, as it generally does. To follow the correct method will give you the same result all the time. Therefore, make your life a methodical one. Rise at a certain hour, work up to a certain hour, retire at a certain hour, do everything on time so that your entire systems becomes methodical. If you have something to do and ought to be done, do it with proper method or system to get the best results. Study it first, then go after doing it. If a thing is worthwhile doing is worthwhile doing well. How pitiful it, it is to see a man living without a program, not knowing how he is going to use his todays and tomorrows. If you follow him long enough, you will find him going down the ditch of failure because he has been traveling without a program. Observe the other man who has his program and see him go from one step to the next with success. If
Hmm.
you have a program, you know what comes next. If you have none, you have to improvise one, and then it is too late to do it properly, and so you fall. If you want to be 5,000 miles away in December and it costs $500, to avoid being disappointed at the last moment, start in January to think about your trip and make arrangements for it so that when the time comes, you'll be perfectly ready. Make this a practice in everything. Don't wait until the time arrives. Think ahead. Always try to look beyond the present by calling upon your past experiences when you are looking at the future. Analyze it, arrange it to suit your needs so that when things come upon you, you'll be ready. Don't let things come upon you suddenly. The man who lives in the present, preparing for the future, always enjoys a better future than the man who doesn't visualize it, but who goes right into it unprepared. Seeing the future and preparing for it is a worthy object. Always try to look into the future. You make slight mistakes here and there, but if you gauge it properly with the experiences of the past and the conditions of the present, you may strike an even or accurate estimate of what it ought to be, so that when it comes, you will be able to welcome it with some kind of satisfaction. To live for something doesn't only mean something for yourself, something for your kith and kin, and something for your race. If a father lives for something, he ought to be able to see his children through that something, so that what he does not accomplish for himself might be accomplished for his children. For instance, an industrious father lives with the hope of improving his social and economic condition. He would like to live in a beautiful mansion on the hill from which he can see the country place around. the valleys, dales, and the lofty mountains. But he is working in the valley, living in a small cottage. He is growing older without his dreams. Realize, but he looks to his sons and says, if I cannot enjoy the desires of mine, because I may be too old, when the time comes, I shall make it possible for my son or grandson to live on the hilltop. When the old man dies, the son inherits, and the son dies, the grandson inherits. Inherits what? That what the grandfather lived, for this should be the policy of every Negro, to live for something to hand down to a son or a grandson, so that they may have life a little easier than their fathers before them. This is the way successful and great families have come into the world, and great races too. No Negro should be objectless or purposeless in life. Always have a purpose. To waste time in non-essential is to be purposeless. Playing bone dice is purposeless. There is nothing achieved in the time wasted in doing it. No great fortune is guaranteed. No great art is accomplished. No structure is built because it is a game of chance. Playing pool is a waste because, like playing the dice, it is a game of chance. Sitting around and going from place to place without an occupation is waste. Valuable time, valuable time is going and nothing is being registered by way of achievement. When one settles down upon a given and worthy idea or occupation, such as an engineer, architect, builder, farmer, poet, or teacher, he or she is working on something that may become tangible in result. It is from such tangible assets that we build fortunes. Find something tangible to do and use your time in doing it well. It is better that you be dead than having no purpose in life. Ella Wheeler Wilcox says, have a purpose, and that purpose keep in view. For drifting like a helmless vessel, thou canst near to self be true. The ship without a helm must be found on the rock. Why be such a ship? Why not sail through life like the bark whose helm is perfect? Be a captain with the chart in hand, seeing his port as he sails steadily on. See your port, visualize it, and as the time comes, anchor in it. The dignity and pride of race. God made man as a complete and finished being. There are no flaws in him but his sins. The race of man, therefore, must be perfect in its physical origin. Hence, there's nothing to be ashamed of as far as species is concerned. The black man's origin is as true as the sun. He need not therefore apologize for his existence. His place in the world is fixed as a star, and as such, it is incumbent upon him to maintain the dignity and pride of his own manhood. There's nothing unusual about the Negro other than he himself as a man. He is beautiful in himself, and why not so? The Anglo-Saxon sees beauty through himself. The Teuton sees beauty through himself. The Mongol sees beauty through himself. And so naturally and logically, the Negro ought to see beauty through himself. The Negro attempts to see the beauty through the angles, through the beauties, through the aquiline features of an Anglo-Saxon, then he images the homeliness and ugliness of his own features because his features are different from those of the Anglo-Saxon. Beauty must be reflected from out of your own eyes. It must be beautiful to a Negro, and as an Anglo-Saxon is to an Anglo-Saxon. The highest standard of beauty, therefore, a Negro is a Negro. Never allow any race to say that your race is not beautiful. If there is ugliness in the race, it is in the other race, not in yours. Because the other races looks different to you. To the Anglo-Saxon, the Mongol is ugly. To the Mongol, Anglo-Saxon is ugly. Compare the Anglo-Saxon and the Negro. It is the Anglo-Saxon who is ugly, not the Negro. The long, sharp nose of the European cannot be considered beautiful against a strong, healthy, airy nasage of the black man who is free from those nasal defects that make healthy health difficult. Thin lips of the European cannot be beautiful compared with strong healthy, and developed lips of the African. These are the ways self-respecting people see themselves. The round, healthy face of the African is much more beautiful than the straight, sickly-looking face of the European. Then why surrender all that is good in you and discount it for that which doesn't reach a standard comparable to yours and others? Always think yourself a perfect being and be satisfied with yourself unless you are a jellyfish. Never allow anyone to convince you of your inferiority as a man. Rise in your dignity to justify all that is noble in your manhood as a race. May race is mine and I belong to it. It climbs with me and I shall climb with it. My pride is mine and I shall surely honor it. It is the height on which I daily sit. The social confusion. Man at his best in his society is always quarreling. He is never satisfied. Don't believe that you will find in your lifetime the solution for all his problems and ills. Attend only to those that concern you and your group. You can solve your own group's problems in your community. You have done well. Let others solve theirs. The time you waste running around others and helping them in their problems, you are robbing your group of that much time to help them solve their problems. Whether a man is sober or drunk, he's a disagreeable beast. You will find it so in every community. So search for your man and tame the beast. He is never of the same mood all the time. At one time you think you can like him, another time you think you could kill him. Tame him towards the end of your own social satisfaction. For dabbling in the confusion of others will only make you more confused, and your divided energy will only tend to, to defeat the special purpose which you should have in solving the problems of your race. Never forget that all other groups in the society of your community are looking after their own individual groups' interests, and your interests, except from the community point of view, is never theirs. Therefore, their interests should never be yours as far as the particular group interests are concerned. Don't be disappointed if other people shock you by their behavior because man is made that way. He acts that way chiefly because he is racially different. The white man may compliment you today and abuse you tomorrow simply because of your race. Don't trust the whole community then. If it is made up of different groups, because it is apt to disappoint you by being selfish at any moment as far as the division of particular interests is concerned. Always pick out your interest in the community and conserve it because others are doing the same. It is only when you tread on the heels of others by accident that you find out that there are differences between you and others. Your mistakes doesn't prove a fact. The fact was there before your mistake. It is always a fact that each group has its own individual and collective racial problems. White man can never be a Negro, and the Negro can never be a white man except after eternity, and you do not live that long. You may be the same in soul, but you will not be a soul. So the similarity is beyond you. What you see is yourself, physical, and there is no doubt that there are physical differences between you and the other man. So watch a step in the social confusion of life. Always remember that another person is not you, for that other person knows too well that you are different from him. He is always on guard to divide the line of interest. This applies everywhere, all around, in your home, office, workshop, in the street, and in the community. Your wife will grab the article and say, "This is mine," and refuse to give it up, although you thought you were one. And what was yours was hers, and hers yours. She always has a time to claim her own, either in peace or confusion. So always have your own in the social confusion of life, because even you and your partner may have to run in different directions to save your skins. If a person is gone with what is yours in another direction, you may lose your life following what you should have been carrying with you. Never forget this. It is of great importance to you for your own safety. You should always have your own fare to pay the conductor. You may have to walk while the other person rides because you can never tell where confusion will spring up. It may be in the streets near the neighborhood. It may be 100 miles from town. It will be a long walk if the car moves off because of the confusion between you and the driver. Always expect confusion in the dividing line in the social contact of life.
Thank you, First Vice President Federal Macy's. That completes lesson 20, Living for Something. Tonight we read lesson 19, Winning Mankind by Kindness, and lesson 20, Living for Something. Was there any questions or comments in regards to tonight's readings? All right. I don't have much else. Commercial. We'll do Winning Mankind by Kindness and Living for Something next week. And that'll just leave the last two lessons. History of the UNIA and 5-year plan. Highly recommend these last two lessons for everybody as leaders, especially lesson 21, History of the UNIA. Because in that lesson, it talks specifically about how to teach the UNIA. And I think that's something that we should all know and be aware of. But I don't really have too much. We started late tonight, so a little bit past 9:30.
Hey, Brother John, President John, I'm sorry to cut you off. Can you show that schedule, how you had it for the remainder of the course real quick for me?
I find it again. That was in the email. Yes, sir. So today is February 8th. We were actually supposed to start a History of the UNIA today. Because it's a long lesson, I broke it into two parts as far as schedule, but Brother Macy is an excellent reader, and I think we can UNIA next week. I'll try to make sure the questions for Winning Mankind by Kindness and Living for Something probably have something similar to what we had today, like 15 questions. Run through them every 45 minutes and spend the last 45 minutes in lesson 21. But right now it's February 8th, and we just read Winning Mankind by Kindness and Living for Something. February 15th, we'll do History of the UNIA. We'll try to do it in one class. And then last study group reading will be February 22nd. And at that time, we'll talk about exam scheduling, things like that. Any other questions? If there's no other questions, Brother Macias, Division 421 officers, if you could stay on. We need to have a few updates on our February 26th fundraiser. We'd like for you to stay on. We will close out, and I will stop the recording and all other divisions. So if there's no other questions, final call on questions, comments. we'll close out with the motto of the organization. Persistent air, please repeat after me. One God,
One God,
One God,
One God.
one aim,
one
One
aim,
aim.
and
destiny.
one
Destiny.
destiny.
one destiny.
Africa for the Africans,
Africa,
Africa for the
Africa
African.
for the Africans,
those at home and those abroad.
those at home and those
those at
abroad.
home and those abroad.
Race first, family, y'all. Have a
Race
good
first.
evening.
Race first.
Race
Thank you.
first. Man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Division 421, Brother Macias, I think you will be leading this portion of the meeting if you don't mind. But it looks like it's me, you, and First Lady Vice President and Lady President Mama Mina. So got a good group. This is our core group. So if we expect to get anything done, it should come from us. So without any further ado, Brother Macias, do you want to just open this up?
Brother Macias, you there?
You might be on mute, Brother Macias. Okay, I'll give him a second. Waiting on you, Brother Macias, but
All right.
you there? Okay. Other things that I documented from my last meeting. Big thing was confirming event location and cost. Brother Macias has an update on that. We talked about the menu and the food. Brother Macias has an update on that as well, a potential idea. I'm supposed to be working on the physical tickets. I still need to get with West End Print Shop, but pretty sure they can do it. They'll probably get like 30 tickets, but my opinion, yeah, I didn't really feel comfortable doing too much until we had the location confirmed and we had everything, the information correct on the flyer to start sharing that and any QR codes or anything. But Bro Mason, if you're there, could you
I'm here, brother.
update?
All right. So talk to the venue and say we definitely, of course, we definitely got have the event. But as far as the split is concerned, they were saying we don't have to split it. We just they do the food and we take the split for the entry fee. So basically, we charge $40 up front. They do 20, we do 20, and we could just that eliminates any upfront costs and also eliminates us from having to put that time and energy in to cook as well. So
that was the
Who is doing this? Who is this people?
the venue wants to do take the food.
So the site in Stone Mountain, they want to cook the food for us.
Yeah.
Yes, they're going to cook the food and of course purchase the food, of course, as well. And they do have a kitchen there that they just started, just opening up. So they're trying to get some traction with that. So we want to make it like a joint marketing, basically, where we're helping them get traction to their kitchen as well. And of course, the venue is free for us. We make $20 a person just for going there to set up a video and show it to our people.
So that's the latest proposal and update that I wanted us to discuss. So I guess I've talked to Brother Mason about it briefly, but I did want to know what the sisters thought about the proposal.
I mean, if they have all right food, I don't mind, but I think, we need to start doing our own fundraising. We need this. But then, if we do it, then you have to pay for it. So this might, this might be a good first step. I mean, I can cook. I know how to cook. I can cook. So this is a good first step for the organization, at least for, doing something.
Thank you, Lady President. First Lady Vice President, I wanted to hear your comments before I responded. Sister Ebony.
I know her mic is broken on her phone, so I'm not sure if you want to put it in the chat. You can hear us.
Can you hear me?
Good tonight.
Yes,
All
we hear
right.
you.
I hear you.
Okay, on my computer tonight, child. Thank you, Brother Macy's. But I think it's a good idea. Mama Mina, to sidebar what you're saying, this is also a good look for us as well, because we get to use the venue as well as bring in consumers on both ends of the spectacle or whatever. So they'll get seen, and as well as we'll get seen to bring in new members or whatever. So I think it's a good first look. And also we don't have to do as much preparing because it's just us 4 or 5. It's just 4 of us right now. So they're willing to do the food and the cooking and stuff like that. And all we have to do is just come set up and just prepare for our people, our members or whatever. Then, that's good energy and timing for everybody, because they're already in place to do it. And we have other stuff we have going on as well. So I think it's cool. That's pretty good. Thank you, Brother Macy. So maybe we can continue our majority of our other our events at this venue, because the kitchen part is taken care of. They're willing to work with us. We're willing to bring in people. It's kind of like it goes good both hands. So no, it's all good. It's all good.
So if all 4 of us get 12 people, that's 48 people, almost at our 50 people goal, paying us $20. So that's almost $800 we make for just showing up.
Yeah, this depends on the rest of the membership too, not just us 4. The whole membership. We need to send some notifications out to all those folks who are local.
Yes, we're going to send out the information through our text system, so everybody that gets the mass messaging, the mass meeting text, would get this text as well. We got about 450 people in the system. But is everybody in agreement with the price of 40 though? That does seem. I know we offer.
It seems a bit higher than me. I don't know how many people gonna get to pay $40.
Yeah, and I know the number came up, like we got to consider what we're offering. As far as
it's not like you got some entertainment or something. You just I'm moving for 40.
We're doing a movie, and from a food perspective, when I had talked about the event that Nation of Islam put on, they had a dish for $45. They had 3 different options. One was a $25 option with fish. One was a $35 option with red snapper, and then the $45 option was lamb. But if we're just doing chicken and normal fish and a movie, I don't want to push people away. And when we're talking about that's $80 for a couple.
Yeah, that's a bit. That's a lot.
If we can, I don't know what we're offering and Brother Macy's we already talked to them about our menu as far as the food, or are they trying to do their own thing?
No, I have to meet with them with the chef on Friday to actually solidify the menu that we want them to go out and get. So it's up to us, and that will also determine the split, the price they want to do. But he said, they're expecting to make $15 to $20 for the food. That's what they said. Hopefully, when we was discussing, so we do 15 and 30. It could definitely be worked out. I agree.
I want to ask everybody what's a week. Go ahead, Brother Macy's. I don't want.
I agree on that. $40 might be a little high, but so if we make $10 for just showing up per person, that's still weird for us. That's my opinion.
Right, absolutely. I was thinking that as well, that we were just paying, they were just going to just pay $20 for the fact that it was a fundraiser. If y'all want to include the membership for those who aren't a member, we could put that in there. But if they're gonna just buy directly from the kitchen, like the venue get their percentage off the food prices, so of course we should have to take that part out because we're not profiting from that. That's their profit. Our profit is coming from the $20. Coming from the $20 entry fee and movie and yeah. Brother John, you want to say a couple words, Brother Macy?
But
Y'all
I,
want to
but I
speak?
think, but
No, I agree.
I think $40 is a bit high.
Yeah,
Yes.
I actually do.
$40 is high, and as I said, when I think about it from a couple standpoint, $80 for a night out, that's up there. I feel very comfortable with the 20, 20 per person, and I think we can stretch it possibly to 30
To 25, maybe.
depending on what we're offering. But one thing I wanted to say is like our key for this, or one thing that I'm thinking about is getting people in the door. So if we do have to do $20 just to get people in the door, I'm willing to do that, because once we get people in the door, there's going to be an additional ask for a fundraiser. So if people came, with 20, came for whatever to get in, but they have something else or they can do something else, that will be an additional benefit as well. So the more people that we have to put into that is what I'm thinking about. So I want as many people in the door as we can get. So I'm leaning more towards the 20, but if we can stretch it to 30, I'd work with that. Maybe 25 would be a good.
I think 25 sounds fine. I think
I
25.
like 25 too.
Okay.
I like 25.
25 for dinner and the movie. We'll finalize the menu. You said Friday?
Yep, Friday.
Okay. Okay. I feel good about the number. That was my key thing. Was the number. But if we can do 25, I can definitely. I feel comfortable with that. $50 for a couple. What do you think?
So what's the movie we're going to show?
Right now it's Judas and the Black Messiah, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? Sister by Ebony for first vice president and first lady vice president. That was the only movie that I've heard multiple times.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
movie.
You all right with that, Mama Mina? You got any thoughts?
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Now,
So basically, I guess the split will be determined once we finalize the menu. We'll know for sure how much we're gonna be able to take home from each person.
we're looking at 25 right now, but I mean, unless the menu is like ridiculously good or ridiculously bad, then we'll change the number.
Well, I hope that it's ridiculously good.
If they won't do shrimp and lobster and steak, we could up the number. I don't know if they won't do that. So, Brother Macy's Friday, what time are you gonna be doing this?
2:30.
And what's the address for this place?
5479 Memorial Drive, Stone Mountain, Georgia. 3083.
5479?
Memorial Drive, Stone Mountain, Georgia.
The location is called the Atrium, though. You should never look up the Atrium.
Okay. Well, I appreciate this being in Stone Mountain because that's not too far from me. So that's good.
President John said you would appreciate that.
So much.
So as far as flyers, I think that's the next thing. We are 18 days away.
Yeah, we need to get some by Friday, huh? Like at the end of this week.
Yes, we need to be moving them over the weekend at the latest. I can get some, Brother Mason, if you can make any changes to the current flyer, or if you got another flyer or whatever. But if we can lock everything in, and we can run with what you got, we can start moving that digitally. And I got to go to the West End print shop to get some tickets. And then I'll see if we want to get some physical flyers made too. But the key is getting the design finalized.
Yeah, I added the movie name to it so far already. I'll send that to when we got the phone. I didn't put a price on there. I can share my screen if y'all want me to, and we can kind of, if you allow me to, and
Okay,
you can see what I have so far. So trying to figure out what all need to be added.
Should be good.
So we need to contact even all these churches that we have been associated with too, and their congregations. They might would help us out, participate, and buy something, or come out even.
Yeah, donate.
And the black schools. I don't know if anybody knows anybody over there at Morehouse and Spelman and those places, but we need to get some students out.
Yeah, we have some connections. Yeah,
Okay.
We gotta find out who the I guess official is of those departments.
Well, I'm telling you, if you go to Georgia State over there with Brother Akinyele and Makula, they're teaching in that, those are old nationalists. So if we get the leaflets out to them, they can share with the students. I mean, I know those brothers personally, so haven't seen them in a minute, but they're over there at Georgia State.
If we get you the flyer, could you get them the flyer?
Go down to the school. I would take it down there to the state. We can mail it in there to them. Or I could call McCook and tell them, some kind of way we could get it over there.
Okay. But yeah, Brother Mitch, if we can get the flyer, by the end of the week, I think we still have enough time to invite, all of these people and groups and make sure they can, have time to attend.
Yeah. I guess people got to be masked. We won't have people masked up, I guess.
We Black Cross nurses will provide masks and hand sanitizer.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. So, my brother, you're going to meet with these people at the end of the week, and then we'll know what we can actually do, right?
Yes. Well,
okay.
I mean, well, you mean as far as numbers and what to expect?
No, we went from $40 down to $25, and so, what are we going to expect? What are you going to indicate on the leaflet the food is or anything?
Say again? What about the food?
Are you going to say movie and dine out with, whatever it's going to be? I don't know.
Yeah, Brother Macy's is got the flyer on Zoom right now.
Oh, I haven't. Oh, okay. You're looking at it right now. So good. Looks good.
He's making some changes. Yes, looks good.
Okay. I'm all for it then. So before we're gonna meet, so we can get copies of this leaflet. Where can I meet you?
I mean, copies of the
You want me to meet you there at the place or something like that? Or you want to mail something to me?
If you could meet me at the print shop, that would be best.
Where's the print shop located?
West End, it's in West End. West End print shop.
Oh, you
The
good?
West End print shop.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked good. One thing, I was questioning the size of the movie title though.
Oh, okay.
It was a little small. West End Print Shop is on Ralph David Abernathy, Southwest Atlanta. Close south of downtown. Let's say close. It's
Okay, let me do the thing.
it's down the street from Morehouse College.
Okay, down to some Morehouse, that's fine.
Yes.
So what day you want me to meet you there?
Think.
Probably you free Thursday?
Me?
This week Thursday?
Lady President.
This week
Yes.
Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll set that up.
What time? During the day?
Yeah, probably about 12, 11 o'clock or so.
11 or 12, okay. Okay, I'm gonna meet you, John, or who? Who I'm meeting?
It's just gonna be me and you.
Oh, okay, my goodness. Okay, this Thursday at 11 o'clock.
Say again?
This week Thursday at 11.
Thursday at 11? Okay, yes.
Or that, not next week Thursday, this week.
Yes, this week. We need to get the flyers moving by this weekend.
Okay.
Excellent job, First Vice President, putting most of this together, and especially the flyer. That's going to be big.
Appreciate it, brother.
Okay, well, I'll see you Thursday then.
All right, well, yeah, is there anything else we need to discuss tonight? It seems like we got a lot taken care of.
Yeah, that's it.
We're supposed to meet with the women, we're supposed to be meeting with the sisters, maybe over the, I guess with, Rodney, you on the line still?
Yeah, I'm here.
She probably hung up. Well, we still meeting Saturday?
She's still on the computer.
Hey, I'm gonna jump off, y'all.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Brother Mages.
All right,
Well, I mean, I'll call you later on or tomorrow, okay?
No problem.
Me or
Huh?
I didn't know if you were talking to me or. Okay.
I was trying to go to Ebony because the sisters were supposed to meet this week. Isn't this the 12th?
Yes, this weekend.
Right.
All right. Well, yeah, we
Okay.
can. I don't have anything else.
All right. Thanks. Good. It was a good meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Lady President. Have a good evening.
Take care. Riley, Ebony, I'll talk with you tomorrow.
You jumped off and looked like we're disconnected.
You jump off? Okay. Sister Erica, I'll call you. Well, I don't have Erica's number, but I'll call your number, John, I guess.
That's
Other than John.
I'll give her the phone.